Hello, readers. So yesterday we looked at comparing and contrasting. Day before we looked at cause and effect. And today we're going to look at context plus clues equals clarity strategy. So this strategy is going to be meant to help us find and understand the meaning of a word that may not be familiar. So the first word that we're going to focus on today is infrastructure. So sometimes when we read, there are words that we don't understand and may not make sense right away. Infrastructure is a word that you may not have heard, and if you have, you may not fully know the definition, right? So what we're going to do today is use a strategy we're going to use this strategy when looking at words that are unfamiliar. So we're going to look at tax dollars at work, and we're going to look at the section transportation. The first question you're going to ask yourself is what's happening? What's happening in the story? So in the transportation section right here for tax dollars at work, we'll read it through together, and we're going to just make an observation. What's happening in that section? And then we're going to look at how it's being used. We're going to think about and look at the words surrounding the word infrastructure. And then, so what might it mean? We're going to make inferences. We're going to use context clues to help us find meaning or understanding to that word. Go ahead and jot these notes down so that you can fill it in as I read that section from the mentor text. Pause the video if you need to, and I'm going to go ahead and read. Transportation. Government officials and agencies handle the infrastructure of states. An infrastructure is the base or foundation of a system. One part of an infrastructure is transportation. The care of roads, highways, and public buses and subways. So this is the main section where they use the word infrastructure. So really quick, in your notebook, I want you to fill in what's happening in the story. So what are they telling you? What are they talking about? How are they using that word? So what's happening? I'm going to read it again, and I want you to think about how it's being used. As I read, see if you can fill in those context clues. So, government officials and agencies handle the infrastructure of states. An infrastructure is the base or foundation of a system. One part of an infrastructure is transportation, the care of roads, highways, and public buses and subways. So what's happening? They're telling me that infrastructure is handled by the government. Right? So it's not like our regular story where, oh, so-and-so is talking to so-and-so, but it's just giving me background. How is it being used? So they're using it to talk about transportation, right? Now, so what does it mean? So we need to go back to the text and look to see if they tell us or give us any clues on what it means. So as I was reading, I was underlining parts that were talking or using the word infrastructure. So all three of these sentences, they use the word infrastructure. I circled this part because it seemed to be important in telling me what it might mean. So government officials and agencies handle the infrastructure of states. So the government is in charge of infrastructure. And infrastructure is the base or foundation of a system. This is telling me what my definition is. So it's saying infrastructure is. It's saying what that word is or what it means. So one part of an infrastructure is transportation. So transportation is the base or foundation of a system. So what do you think it means? I'm just going to say base or foundation of a system. So I want you to continue reading and using this strategy in finding meaning of words that you don't know. For Schoology, there are two words, that you're going to define. And I want you to use these 3 questions to help you figure out what it might mean. Good luck.